Benvenuti a Ciao Bella. I'm your host, Erica Firpo. For the past 20 years, I've made my home in Rome, where I've worked as a journalist contributing to publications including Afar, Washington Post, Lonely Planet, and Travel and Leisure. I love sharing the stories of Italy's pioneering creators, and I'm bringing these stories directly to you on Ciao Bella. Every week, I'm joined by contemporary artists, heritage artisans, designers, culinary experts, innovative aesthetes, and more. At the crossroads of evolution and tradition, the past and the future, they are working and creating to define and redefine 21st century Italy. Join me as we see Italy through their eyes. My heart belongs to Sicily. I'm going to admit it. I love everything about Italy's biggest island: the food, the history, the music, the legends, the people, and the creativity. Winemaking family Planeta has all of this rolled into vineyards across Sicily. So I traveled down to Memphis to meet up with Francesca Planeta to talk about her family's more than 400-year-old history, their vineyards, and their initiatives in art and sustainability. I want to say again, thank you. I was talking to my husband about how I really want to take him to the Foresteria. I had such a wonderful time, and it was such a beautiful experience. And thank you for sharing with me your whole family. That was a really amazing experience.
Thank you.
And then also thank you for taking the time to speak to me this morning about Planeta and you.
It's a pleasure.
You know, it's not just a winery. I think it's 6 boutique estates. For all my listeners, Planeta is a generational family winery in Sicily. They're pioneers. And it's also, I feel like Planeta is also a philosophy on life. I had the opportunity to experience that philosophy a little bit this summer. And I'm so happy to have you on here, Francesca.
Thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast. Well, Planeta, you just said it's a philosophy. Certainly, I think we have a lot to say, and we are a lot of people. So yeah, in all those numbers, a lot of places where Planeta is, of course, only Sicilian, a lot of family members. There is a lot to say, and getting a bit of pieces from everybody then can become a philosophy. Where do we start from? We start from a little bit of history. Planeta is a Sicilian family since the end of the 16th century. And but without talking about the whole of the history of Planeta, we just go a little bit back to the last generation, and particularly the one just before us, which is my father and his brothers and sisters, which Diego Planeta is my father, and he's the person that had the courage to change things in Sicily. So especially in agriculture and viticulture. So we are a family that was doing different kinds of farming. And my father thought in the 80s that Sicily had a great potential in viticulture and in winemaking, in quality winemaking, but it wasn't doing that because the history of viticulture of Sicily goes since the Greek, the Phoenicians. So it's really, but in the last, especially after the war, and after phylloxera, so on, it was really become only wine in bulk of very low level of quality. So looking around the world and going around the world and seeing how many other countries, especially with the warm climate like Sicily, were doing very well, he said, why, if we have this history and we have the beautiful country region, a wine regions with so much diversity, why can't we bring back to light again the wines that that are part of our history? If you think Sicily in the 80s was like the production twice as the whole of Australia. I mean, it's really one of the biggest regions, not only of Italy but of the world. And so there was really a need to give that change, to go back to the roots, to the regions, because the regions were there, and sort of really start thinking with a different philosophy. So he was president of a regional institution called Istituto Regionale della Vite del Vino, and then he brought to Sicily, like Giacomo Takis, Attilio Scienza, so the real guru of the viticulture and winemaking of Italy. And he started setting up in all of the region different vineyards, experimental vineyards and experimental winery. And they started experimenting on the indigenous varieties, on international varieties, and so on, with the major family or wineries existing, they started to think in a different way. And this was the story of Planeta. So we were farmers, we had our vineyards that we used to sell to local wine cooperative, and we started, he came to us, especially we were quite very young, some of us were still at school, I remember, and he said, now, you see the farms of Planeta that were very they're diverse, because we were doing oranges, citrus fruit, artichokes, grapes, and many other things. He said, now, I feel that the future of Sicily is going to be in quality viticulture, and I would like to start this project with you, with the new generation, and to create a Planeta brand on quality wine. In 1985, he actually decided to plant the first vineyard. 95 was actually our first vintage at Planeta.
So up until then, up until 1985, was there already, as far as like more like bulk commercial wine, was Planeta already a label, an etiqueta?
No.
Okay, so
no, we were selling our grapes to the wine cooperative. Local
to the cooperatives, right? I'm sorry. So just so everybody
understands. The first label, first vintage is 1995 with the Planeta label. And that's when I, Francesca, get into the business, because I'm Alessio, my cousin, my partner. He's a little bit older than me, so he started in the process of the viticulture and experimentation of the vineyard. I get in. I'm working in Milan. I did some experience in the marketing department of a very big company, and there I get involved with the first labels, with the logo, design of the logo, and so on. And it's in 95, actually, our first vintage. I was on holiday in Sicily, and I was never asked to be part of the company. And because I was in Milan and the graphic agency was there, then it was, of course, important that, and I was working in marketing department, I was involved in that part. But actually in 1995, when I go for my summer holidays and I see the first grapes arriving, I perfectly remember that day in Ulmo winery, which was the first one, which is based between Menfi and Sambuca di Sicilia, two little towns, and I say, what am I doing, Milan? Here is something really nice to do. I mean, something, you need a lot of courage, something really to think, really forward, and to understand it, if it's something you can change for your terroir, for your territory, for your family. And I like challenges. I got back in September at the company in Milan. I said, look, I'm quitting my job. And by December, I was in Sicily, starting the new business. So, and it was just at the time, it was just my father and Alessio and I, the first beginning, and we're in a very small little office, working from 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, really. And but it was really good fun. I'm really challenging.
I think everybody would want to know, what's it like working with your father, a Sicilian father, no less?
Well, he's really fantastic. He's always been very, very, very open-minded with especially the young people. And he wanted a lot, people to travel a lot and to go and see the world around and then come back with new ideas. He employed only young people, and he did the same when he was president of the wine cooperative. He wanted the young people to work with him. I remember when I was young, he always had this philosophy and saying, to the people, to the young people, go, and he did a lot of investment to send them out, to travel around the world, and to come back with more, with new ideas, and so it was really fantastic, because it was really we were on the same side. I never felt, like he was like, imposing thing or, saying you have to do this or that. He was really listening a lot. Of course, he had the vision. I remember when I was selling the wines, Planeta wines, and at that time, 96, 97, there was a big quality Sicilian wines were not existing. And every time I went around the world, it was like, Sicily doesn't make good wines. No, we don't want them. But we were doing some wines with Chardonnay, Merlot, Cabernet. So they were quite curious of the international varieties. And they were saying to me, oh, yes, please, please. Let's taste Chardonnay from Sicily, Merlot from Sicily, and so on. On that, and I would never mention the indigenous varieties like Nero d'Avola, like Grecanico, because I couldn't sell them. Some of our blends that were a blend of both, I would say just Merlot, even to sell a bottle. And in that period, when I was saying, I need more Chardonnay, I need more Merlot, he was going on the other side of the island, in the areas of Vittoria and Noto, to search for vineyard just to produce Nero d'Avola wines. And I was like, no, I don't want that. No, the market doesn't want it. So he was incredible. And now, of course, it's the opposite. Everyone wants indigenous. So, of course, his vision was something that was incredible. And I wasn't, and those were the moment that I couldn't, I wasn't happy to work with him only because he had other ideas, of course, much better than ours. And I was like too young to understand what the future was going to be.
You said something really interesting, which was that in the mid 90s, people really didn't consider Sicilian wines. How long did, can you quantify like how long it took to, like, when did that change happen? Because now, wine tourism in Sicily is such a big thing. In fact, I remember when I was watching White Lotus and I saw just a second of a bottle being poured and I looked on the label and I go, oh, that's Planeta. They went to the Planeta vineyard. I mean, it's been kind of all over the place. And Sicilian wines in general have been getting so much, they have so much respect. But in the late 90s or the mid 90s, it wasn't the case. When do you think that turnover started happening?
I think it changed around the mid 2000. I think beginning of 2000, second part of 2000. Especially now, I don't know exactly a name. When we started, there were many different wineries that came all together in order to promote themselves. There is an important association which is called Assovini, and we started to promote all together, a new system in order to promote a wine. And I think around 2004, 2005, those are very good moments of, especially there, Nero d'Avola starts to become very popular, and so I think it's since then, yes, it started to really go up, and now it's become one of the most important regions of Italy, certainly in terms of quality winemaking, and as you said, in terms of wine tourism. We were even one of the first to not Planeta, but the region, but Planeta as a family also to open our wineries to the public, before it was just for the business, so B2B, and because we needed to promote ourselves more than other regions, and so to the consumers. So we used to do these big it was called Planeta is called Domenica in Vigna. So we would open
Sunday in the vineyards,
and we would attract people to on a Sunday to know about Planeta wines with other artisans, with local artisans. So we would have more than 1,000 people, and we would do that every year, like for 3-4 years, Sundays in the summer, and it was like something really unusual, and which today is very common. But that it was so important, to show people not only, the bottle of wine, but what's winemaking in its nature, its people, its landscape, its traditions, and so that's why we would do that, and then today is terribly popular thing. You find it everywhere. Yeah.
Well, I really enjoyed my visit because I had the opportunity to go to Ulmo, and to your Menfi headquarters. So aside from really learning about the wine, like you're saying, I got kind of a 360 or full immersion experience in Planeta, because we're, you open it's the lunches. You can have lunch in Ulmo in that beautiful big dining hall that has so much Sicilian heritage in it, but also your family's heritage and the family's stories. And also eating outside, of course, but inside I was really captivated just by, you can kind of step back into a little bit of Western Sicily history right there. And then the landscape is just, I mean, I will say my favorite place to ever be is in Sicily and Western Sicily, in fact. So the landscape is just absolutely gorgeous. And then going to your headquarters, which was kind of crazy because we get to go through the kitchen, the old family kitchen, and then bringing us down in your cantina, which everybody should have the experience to go to Planeta's cantina, because it's repertorio, because it's like a mixture of like a cantina and a library, like a really very, I want to say like secret men's club library. It's not for men, but it has like the leather couches, you can sit down, but then you're also, you see a casa of wine and it's a really special, and you see the older wines and you see the newer stuff. Also, I was thrilled was because there's another ingredient to Planeta, which is art. Yeah. And I'm completely, I love what you're doing with your different art projects. And your different cultural heritage projects. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. First of all, Ulmo, Dispensa, and all these places, they have a lot of history and culture, heritage. When you said about Ulmo, this room, it's that building dates since 16th century. So it is something really the first part. So it's something that where you can really feel, that type of family heritage and so on. And what about art? It's been part of our family passion and culture since ever. It all links to something that we like to do and to show what we like. So it's like really when you come to Planeta and everything that comes from our family or from our ideas, because probably we like to do it for ourselves, then we transform it into something that to show to the public. So this is how it started. And another reason is that when you have the fact that you want to really show your land, find anything that captures people's attention to your land and everything. So we also thought that, through art, we could capture another type of public, another type of people that could come to visit and to know about Planeta and about its places through the art. So when we really started very young at the beginning, in 97 or 98, I can't remember, that we decided to do this Viaggio in Sicilia, which is a tour of Sicily for artists. So we invited a group of artists coming from different parts of the world and to just visit the places, vineyards, but not only the art places and our vineyards, really a little bit all around, and especially places that were not in the classic, touristic tours. So really, for a week, these artists had to live the whole of Sicily with the secret Sicily, I would say, the secret Sicily, and through Planeta. 7 of these artists, after a week of traveling, they would go back home and do some prepare some art pieces that the year after we would exhibit in a public place, and we did it in many different places in Palermo, and for these 2-3 months, and of each of these artists we would keep one of their pieces. So today that this is started, I think the first year was 2000 or something like that. So every 2 years now we have a very nice collection of art pieces that you you can see in all of our wineries. So, for example, on the walls of La Foresteria, which is our boutique hotel, or you can find them in Ulmo or at the winery on Etna. So there is all our places which today you can visit. You would find a part of the history of part of the project Viaggio in Sicilia for artists. Yeah.
Tell me, you mentioned for all our wineries. Can you share with everyone how many wineries you have?
In Menfi, we have 3 different locations with wineries. I think you've visited all of them. There is Ulmo, which is the first one we did in 1995. Then we've moved to Dispensa, where the family house and where Repertorio, the wine. The old vintage wine room. Then there is the very, very new one, that little small one on the top of the mountain, which is called Cirami, which is dedicated to our top red wines like Didacus and the Sito dell'Ulmo Merlot and Syrah Maroccoli. Then, and this is in Menfi. Then in 97, we moved to Vittoria, where we do the Cerasuolo di Vittoria.
So Menfi, just so everybody understands, is southwestern. So now we're moving slightly east.
Southeast, so Vittoria, it's on the coast, the province of Ragusa. Then in 1998, we moved to Noto, in the area of Noto, which is southeast in the province of Siracusa, which we have our winery Buoni Vini, which produces Santa Cecilia, which is our crew of Nero d'Avola. In 2006, we've moved to Mount Etna. We have a winery there, where you said before there was White Lotus had his moment, and then we have a very tiny one on Capo Milazzo, which is in the province of Messina, which is a little finger. It's like a little peninsula which is facing the Aeolian wineries. And this has winery. Then we have a project of another winery and another vineyard, which is a joint venture with a French company, which is located in the area of Menfi, which is called the Serra Ferdinandea, which is a different brand. And then, so this is in terms of winery and agriculture. And we have also olive oil, which we forgot to mention, which is in Menfi. Yeah, we have our own production olive oil with our own frantoio, the mill in the middle of the olive grove. Yeah.
Which I got to visit, and it's also really cool because, like, on a modern history level, there's the old bunker. There's a World War II bunker that you can stand. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about there are several bunkers across Sicily, but in the midst of the olive field is this World War II bunker, which kind of blows your mind when you start thinking how active the campaigns were at that time in that area. I was completely fascinated. I love overlapping history. I wanted to ask you, because I believe it was in Cirami. Was that where you told me about Didacus?
Yeah, probably.
Which is that's your father's nickname, right?
Yeah. So my father's nickname was Didacus, nickname given by his father, which he always says that he used to call him Diego when he was okay, not too angry or not too happy. Dieguzzo when he was very sweet and happy, and Didacus when he was very naughty. Didacus means Diego in Latin, but Diego, my father always thought that meant so that because his father was always very angry, so he used them. Since we have emails address, he's always been Didacus at planeta.it. And there's
that series of paintings and artwork that's called Didacus, that's inspired by his name, right?
Yeah, in fact, since 2014, we had this really, really great vintages. Alessio, my cousin, he's the winemaker, he decided to do this special a special harvest for very few bottles, which is called of Chardonnay. So selecting from the vineyard of our Chardonnay, which is the most popular, famous wine of Planeta, the top of our top, to select some really bunches and grapes and produce this very few bottles of Ditacus Chardonnay. So 2014 was our first vintage, so he dedicated to Diego. Diego was still alive, so he fully enjoyed it very much and was very happy about it. And after some years, 2016, he decided also to produce the red Ditacus made from Cabernet Franc variety, which and the winery which the small winery where you were was is where we do the red Ditacus Cabernet Franc. Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you, because I know something that's very important to you, but I really feel like it's also part of your Sicilian DNA is sustainability. I think what a lot of people are starting to learn is sustainability on some level. It probably was never called sustainability back in the day. It's very Italian. It's very Sicilian. Non sprecare, not wasting. And I wanted to know if you could tell us a little bit about that in regard to Planeta.
Well,
because it's a big deal. Planeta Terra.
No. First of all, it's important to say that, I think part of our culture is we really have grown all the time, always without sprecare, without waste, and without, it's really since ever. If we're talking about, also because, it was part of, it was a need of the family, of course, when we, especially, people that have come out of the war. For instance, I'm talking about my brother, my father and brothers and sisters, and they had very bad moments. And then we had in 1968 we had a very important earthquake in the area of Memphis, which was another problem, another very hard moment. I think history has always brought us to learn that you never have to learn to never waste anything. So it's really become part of the culture. In terms of the Planeta started since always to be very sustainable in terms of viticulture and lifestyle. We actually, when no one used to talk about sustainability, and it was really something we actually created a logo. I'm talking about many years. It's called Planeta Terra, so Planeta Earth. That because to put all the things that Planeta was already doing in terms of sustainable or for the Earth. Then it became very popular. And then it became a certification because it's important also to be certificated as sustainable. So Planeta is 100% organic in their vineyards, and bio organic and bio with its wines. In the case of Serra Ferrina, and we are actually biodynamico. And so the moment you're sustainable and certified, sustain, which is an important certification in Sicilian certification of sustainability. And of course, it's not only organic, it's even more than becoming organic with the wines, because it's really a system where everything has to be researching the best in terms of sustainability. We're talking about sustainability in terms of social sustainability, in terms of culture, and we talked about the art in that sense, social in terms of trying to help and to work with the local community. We are sustainable in the use of water. We in terms of, for example, this year we started to not only use less heavy glass for the vineyards, but also there is a new company in Sicily that was promoted very much by us and other wineries in order to that produces glass bottles from recycled glass, and we buy them from there, which is less heavy, but at the same time recycled glass. So many acts and facts that we do are totally are in that sense. In terms of our even you're talking about waste, it's another philosophy in terms of food. I mean, for us, we grow. It's fun. We grow very sustainable because everything in our family that was left, there was never leftovers. For example, everything since since with my aunt, everything was freezed and then the next day or the Sunday after was cooked. So I can't remember to have any trash at all of food in my life. You had to eat everything, everything. So a lot of our recipes are done of things that are made,
I have the book, Sicilia, your aunt's recipes, which I gave to my sister as well. And I was laughing because it is, the products you have can make many different kinds of meals.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I like what you said about also like social sustainability, bringing in the heritage. I'd love to talk a little bit about the hospitality aspect of Planeta, because I think we've talked about how you can visit the vineyards. You mentioned very briefly about La Foresteria. So really quickly for everyone, Planeta also has this opportunity to come and be part of Planeta. You can stay in Palazzo Planeta in Palermo. Something I want to do, which is go to Sambuca in Sicilia and stay in the little art apartment.
Casa Panetteria.
Yeah, that's very, very cool. And then also La Foresteria, which I visited, which is a lovely, I think is it 14 rooms?
Yep.
On this hill in Menfi overlooking the sea. You're in essentially the gardens of Planeta. And it's not just staying in this beautiful kind of, I call it like a farmhouse almost, but not really. Mm-hmm. You're also experiencing your family's hospitality with a little twist, because I think Angelo adds a little bit of a twist to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yes. First, we did the tour of the wine. Now we do the tour of the hospitality. So, as you said, you start from Palermo, the capital city, where there is the family palace, and part of this, so the apartments have been moved into hospitality. So we have 9 apartments, hotels. So who's visiting Palermo or wants to come to Menfi can do a quick stop in Palermo, which is a beautiful city, and then pass to the countryside. Then we are in, as you said, Foresteria, which was opened in 2009, and it's 14 bedrooms and boutique hotel, a wine resort, boutique hotel, with its restaurant, which is open also to the public, so not only for who's staying at Foresteria. And Angelo, as you said, Angelo Pumiglia is the head chef of Foresteria. So with our restaurant, it's a bit a combination of both, I would say. You have actually 2 different tasting menus. One dedicated to the tradition, to the recipe of the family, which is called il menù di Casa Planeta, where the recipes come from the book that you were talking about, like Cucina di Casa Planeta, and the other one instead, as you said, a little bit twist, a little bit more gourmet, which comes from Angelo Pumiglia's ideas and recipes. Everything is, we try to really work only with local products. I mean, some are produced by our own, but others brought really in the area of Menfi, but of course of Sicily. We try to be more Sicilian as possible with the local. Also, not because we can control. We go and visit our suppliers. We work together with our suppliers. They produce for us things that we need. So it's more like that. It's as we said, it's part of the community. So it's it's what Angelo also prefers, to be partner with the suppliers. Everyone says is the Planeta hospitality, the philosophy, that philosophy that you said before, the Planeta philosophy hospitality. I mean, that is something that every people find always in every place which they visit. So it's and the family atmosphere, even if they're not visiting or seeing someone of the family, they feel that everyone that is working with us is part of the family.
Well, it feels, just my experience, as I said, that's what it felt like. Everybody knows each other. Everybody has been in different aspects of Planeta, or they're from one of the neighborhoods. Someone's from Noto who's now working in Memphis. I mean, it's like, it's beautiful. It is a really lovely family experience. And it's, and then when you realize it's a lot bigger than what you think, it's even more, to me, that's even more fascinating. Yeah. So that leads me to ask you, art, history, wine, food, hospitality. What is next for Planeta?
Oh my God.
I mean, is there anything next? Is that possible at this point?
Well, I think, hospitality is a big word. So there's a lot of things that can fit in there that we still haven't done. In terms of services to add to our hospitality, certainly, I think Sicily is growing. It's becoming more and more area that people want to visit. I think the southern western part, all the area of Memphis, there's still people want to discover. We have so much art and beauty around there. I mean, we have Selinunte, which is something so beautiful, really 15 minutes from Foresteria.
Incredible Greek temple. Incredible.
Yeah, with 300 hectares of landscape around it, which is something really on the sea, which is wow. We have Il Cretto di Burri, which is another fantastic art piece that comes after the earthquake in Gibellina. From Memphis, in 1 hour, you are to Agrigento temples, you are to Palermo, you are to Trapani, you can go and see the salt saline. Things. So, I mean, it's an area, and as you said, beautiful landscape, all these very soft hills and going all close to the sea, and so I think there is really a lot to do still in that area, and I think what's next is going to be improve on what we've done already, do better with the wines, do better with hospitality, and certainly probably hopefully have more bedrooms, because I think we're thinking of other more rooms, or nothing big. I mean, we make our lives very complicated. We've done it with the wine. We don't have one winery where all the grapes go, 400 hectares. We have 7 wineries with 4 hectares, so everything has to be boutique, and the same philosophy we have for the hospitality. Nothing big, no big cathedral in the middle of nothing, but little places where people can enjoy and be intimate, and so more work for Planeta, but better life for our guests.
Thank you, Francesca and Planeta, for making this episode happen. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ciao Bella. The editor of Ciao Bella is Mastro. Production manager is Jenna Spray. If you're new to Ciao Bella, take a peek at ciaobella.co, our all-encompassing Italy-focused website, where you'll find insider insight on contemporary Italy, and sign up for our newsletter for new episodes and articles. Follow me on Instagram at Erica Firpo, and follow Ciao Bella on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen. Leave us a rating or comment. Ciao, ciao!